Hey everybody, Bobby Umar here, and welcome to my weekly scope on how to seize your passion. Today's topic is going to be about how to argue. What are some ways to do the right argument? So I'm actually in a really cool space called Now Creates. It's a space for entrepreneurs and business people. So it's a really amazing space if you ever want to hook up and meet some cool entrepreneurs and do your work and get some great Wi-Fi. And again, my name is Bobby Umar. I'm a 4-time TEDx speaker, one of Inc. Magazine's top 100 leadership speakers. And I'm very excited I'm from Toronto, Canada. Let me know down below where you're from, because I want to hear from you and hear from some of your thoughts. And we're going to talk about how to argue. When it comes to seizing your passion, and whether you're trying to elevate your career, your business, you need to find a way to discuss and debate things with you. And I'll tell you, it's actually quite touchy, because even lately there's been a lot of debates online with the recent tragedy in the U.S. In regards to so many different things, from religious extremism to gun control to homophobia and things like that. And it's very sensitive, and people are arguing, debating, and it's a little bit challenging for them. But I really want to share with you some of my thoughts on when you do argue or make an argument with somebody, what's the best way to go about it. So again, I'm from Toronto, someone from Houston. Hey Houston, shout out to Houston, Texas. That's awesome. Anyone else, where are you guys from? Let me know. I do this weekly scope for SEOPA, and you can check them out, seopa.com/stream/video. Love the hearts too. If you want to give hearts, that's great. I love it. Really appreciate the hearts. Share this on Twitter, share this on Facebook. Let's get people part of the conversation. And I'm going to give you 5 things when it comes to making an argument that's effective. So let's start with the first one. The first step for making an argument is you need to understand both sides. So even though you're positioning your side, it's important for you to understand the emotions, the data, the information, the perspectives, the beliefs of the other side. In fact, the truest people who are good at making an argument can actually, if you think about debate club, right? If you had to argue for the other side, what would you say? If you're a lawyer and you have to defend the person that you know is guilty, what do you say? How do you make it work for yourself? So to me, that's a huge, huge thing. When I debate sensitive issues like death penalty or gun control or same-sex marriage with people who are vehemently against it, I already know what their positions are, and I already know if I were to debate from the other side, I could actually do it. Not that I would, but I can. And that actually makes a huge difference when it comes to your ability to debate and argue with people. So it's important for you to understand how they feel and what they're thinking. So when you do that, you would be much better at it. And again, if you have any thoughts or comments on what I'm saying, first off, hearts are great if you love what you're hearing, but comment below. I want to hear what you have to say, what your thoughts are, what I'm talking about. The second thing when it comes to making an argument is don't try to win, try to learn. Don't try to win, try to learn. You want to, if you're going to turn it into a debate, the problem with debates is that debate is win-lose. What you want is discussion. Discussion is win-learn, right? So everybody wins if everybody learns. If I'm talking to somebody who's anti-religion, if I just, I'm not going to win any hearts, and I love your hearts. I'm not going to win any hearts from him if I just try to win the argument. Same thing, and I find that the same thing when people are talking to you. If you're in a discussion with somebody and they're just trying to win, you know what? Maybe you should let it go, because it's not worth your time and your energy. It just sucks your soul to have to argue with these people. And I find arguments on Twitter are much harder to deal with than discussions on Facebook, because Twitter, you only have such short talking points. It's very difficult to do that. A video exchange like this is good, or a longer discussion or email or messaging, I think, is way better. So you want to try to learn. You want to learn about them. You want to learn about how your position affects other people. All right. The third thing when it comes to making an argument, you want to use data/evidence, like source your stuff, plus stories. So data and stories are the way to really make your argument valid, to make your argument more successful in getting people's attention. Now, caution on that, because just because you have a story doesn't mean it's supported by data. So that's like, well, there's one time I had a friend who, rubbed some rocks on her forehead and it cured her cancer. Well, that's fine, but the evidence doesn't suggest that that's the way to go with curing cancer. But stories supplemented by data are huge, because it makes way more sense to get people's attention that way. So if you want to make an argument, you want to make sure you take data or evidence or sourcing, like quantitative, qualitative data, and then back it up by stories. And that's going to make it more compelling what your argument is, because people are more willing to listen to you, they're more willing to connect with you, they kind of understand where you're coming from. All right, so my first three. Number one, understand both sides. You can debate both sides of the issue. Number two, don't try to win, but try to learn. And number three, use data and stories to get your argument going. So again, we're talking about the top 5 ways to make an argument effectively so that you actually create some strong impact and influence with whatever it is you're passionate about. This is how you seize your passion. So now let's get to the fourth one. The fourth one in terms of how making an argument is you want to ask for suggestions on how to address these things. So one of the things that I do is instead of saying, here's what I think you should do, I say, hey, what do you think? What would be your suggestion to deal with, quote unquote, the root issue that I just cited? I'm really, thank you. I'm glad, thanks for the kind words. I love that. So you ask for suggestions first, then you give your suggestions. So you say, hey, listen, what are your suggestions? Here's the root issue. The root issue is that, people are dying of hunger. What can we do? The root issue is that the environment is steadily getting bad. What do we do? The root issue is that, the people that shouldn't be accessing guns are accessing really, really deadly guns. What can we do? And ask them for suggestions. Because they'll either say, there's nothing you can do, which you don't want to talk to them. Or maybe they'll come up with some, cogent responses and thoughtful responses on what is the best way to do it. And then you can throw in your 2 cents, because now what you've done is you said, I'm listening to you, so now you can listen to me. So, because people who are really, really vehement about a topic or an idea won't want to listen to you unless you're willing to listen to them. So you have to find a way to show that you're listening to them. And I think that's huge when it comes to building that up. So that's my top 4. I have a 5th one. So the 4 ways to make an argument. 1, understand both sides. Number 2, don't try to win, try to learn. Number 3, use data and stories to supplement your argument. Number 4, ask for suggestions and then on how to address the root issue, and then you can add your own suggestions. And then the number 5 way to make an argument is to keep it simple to 2 or 3 points. Keep it simple. If you're like, well, here's my 17-step plan to address bigotry, that's a lot. It's a lot. You want to keep it simple. What are the 2 or 3 key things people can do in terms of your call to action with your argument? What's the 2 or 3 things we can do to deal with, bigotry and racism and prejudice and poverty and homelessness and all these different topics that are out there? Because, and I'll give you an example. When the gun control, the gun control is very sensitive, but I'm going to talk about it because I'm passionate about it. Hey, seize your passion. I'm passionate about gun control. Not to take away guns, but people getting really, really crazy weaponry. So for me, the 2 issues are we need to educate people so that they're more informed and less ignorant about creating hate, anger, fear, and ignorance. And number 2, you need to restrict access to people who are much more high risk with much more powerful weapons. Those are 2 key issues that I think are really, really important. So again, keep it simple to 2 or 3 points. So those are my 5 points. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts below. Let me know. You can also share with seopa.com and share your own stuff, share your own ideas. You can submit questions. Just hashtag me. You can say, hey, Q for Bob U, and I'll throw in some videos. Or you can let Seopa know. Hashtag Seize Your Passion. We can do more and more videos. I'm here every week at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays to do my weekly Seize Your Passion. So the top 5 ways to make an argument. Number 1, understand both sides. Number 2, don't try to win, try to learn. Number 3, use data and stories to supplement your argument. Number 4, ask for suggestions and on how to address the key root issues, then give your own suggestions. And finally, keep it simple in terms of 2 or 3 points that are going to be most beneficial to your cause. So hope you enjoyed that. Wish you guys a fantastic week. Yeah, let us know what topics you want to discuss. I think that's really, really helpful. And maybe I'll do it again this week, next week at the studio. But this is a really cool studio, and thanks all for joining. Take care. Bye-bye.